Today, we're going to talk about 7 habits that turned my life around in just 2 weeks. Yep, you heard that right. 2 weeks. I know it might sound too good to be true, but trust me, these habits are far from your typical self-help tips. These are changes I put into action myself, and the impact was huge. I went through all the ups and downs, the moments of doubt, and the little victories, and I came out on the other side feeling transformed. Now I'm excited to share these with you because they've had such a powerful effect on my life, and I believe they can do the same for you. So whether you want to increase your productivity, improve your mental health, or just make your daily life a bit brighter, these habits can help you get there. So go ahead, grab a coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Trust me, you'll want to stick around because these aren't just ideas. They're real, actionable habits you can start working on today. I'll also be sharing some of my own experiences along the way so you can see firsthand how these habits played out for me. All right, let's jump in with habit number 1, waking up early. I'll be honest with you, I used to dread mornings. Hitting the snooze button felt like my first daily ritual, and mornings always felt rushed and chaotic. But I knew I needed to make a change, so I decided to start waking up earlier. I began setting my alarm for 5 a.m. The first few mornings were rough. I'd drag myself out of bed, groggy and questioning my decision. But I pushed through, and around the 3rd or 4th morning, things started to shift. The early hours were so peaceful, like a quiet time that was all mine before the world got busy. There's something about watching the world wake up that fills you with a sense of calm and gratitude. With this extra time in the morning, I could finally start my day at my own pace. I'd do a bit of light stretching or a slow jog to wake up my body, and then I'd sit down with my coffee and set my intentions for the day. It felt refreshing not to be in a rush. One morning, I actually got to watch the sunrise, and it was this incredible grounding moment that made me appreciate the simple beauty around me. Waking up early has become a ritual I now look forward to. It's a way to start the day mindfully and with intention. So even if you're not a natural morning person, I'd encourage you to give it a try. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. right away. Start by setting your alarm just 15 minutes earlier than usual and ease into it. It's not just about gaining extra time in your day. It's about using those early moments to create a positive, intentional start. The second habit that made a huge difference for me was daily exercise. I'll admit I wasn't exactly a fitness enthusiast. I'd tell myself I was too tired, too busy, or that I'd start tomorrow. But one day I realized I'd been saying tomorrow for far too long, so I decided to commit to moving my body every day for 2 weeks. I kept it simple, just 20 minutes a day, mixing up different activities to keep things fresh. Some days I'd go for a jog, other days I'd do a bit of yoga or some basic strength training. Those first days were tough. I'd feel sore, and it felt like a struggle. But by day 4, I noticed something different. I felt more energized, my mood improved, and I found myself looking forward to those 20 minutes as a time to disconnect from everything else. Exercise became a moment of freedom and clarity. One morning I went for a jog, and it was just me, the fresh air and the open road. It felt amazing. I also tried yoga, which I'd never really considered before, and found it to be surprisingly calming and grounding. Yoga taught me to slow down, breathe deeply, and appreciate what my body could do. Adding daily movement into my life was a reminder that taking care of your body has a direct effect on your mental well-being. It became a small act of self-care that made me feel more connected to myself. If you're not sure where to start, don't worry about pushing yourself to the extreme. Find a type of movement you enjoy, commit to a few minutes each day, and let it become a regular part of your routine. You'll be surprised at the impact it can have. Habit 3. Journaling. Now, I used to think journaling was for people with lots of free time or for those naturally inclined to reflect. I thought I'd feel awkward or forced doing it, but I gave it a go for 2 weeks, dedicating just 10 minutes at night to jot down my thoughts. I kept it simple. No fancy apps, just a notebook and a pen. The first night, I wasn't sure what to write, so I just recapped my day. But soon I found myself diving deeper, reflecting on my goals, what made me happy, and things I wanted to improve. Journaling became a chance to connect with myself and process my emotions in a way I hadn't before. One night, after a particularly stressful day, I wrote about what bothered me, why it affected me so much, and what I could do differently next time. Seeing it all laid out on paper helped me get a sense of control over my emotions and see things more clearly. As the days went on, I even started tracking little victories and progress in my journal. I'd look back and feel proud of how far I'd come, which gave me motivation to keep going. I also added a gratitude section, writing down 3 things I was grateful for each day. This simple shift in focus, from what was missing to what I had, helped me see life with a more positive lens. If you've never tried journaling, I encourage you to give it a shot. You don't need to be a writer, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just let your thoughts flow onto the page. You might find that it gives you clarity, perspective, and a deeper understanding of yourself. The 4th habit I adopted was mindful eating. I used to eat on the go, barely paying attention to what I was consuming or how much. Meals were rushed with my eyes glued to a screen or while multitasking on something else. But for 2 weeks, I committed to eating mindfully, and it completely changed my relationship with food. Mindful eating is about being fully present during meals, taking time to notice the flavors, textures, and even the aromas. I made an effort to set the table, turn off distractions, and take a few deep breaths before starting each meal. At first, it felt strange to sit quietly with my food, but it quickly became a calming ritual. I began to appreciate every bite, discovering flavors I'd never noticed before. Even foods I'd had countless times before tasted new and exciting. This habit also helped me tune into my body's natural hunger and fullness signals. By eating more slowly, I found I was more satisfied with smaller portions and less likely to overeat. One morning, I had a simple bowl of oatmeal, something I usually ate on autopilot, but this time I slowed down, savoring each spoonful, noticing the subtle sweetness of the honey and the warmth of the oats. It turned an ordinary breakfast into a moment of gratitude. Mindful eating taught me a lot about how different foods make me feel. Heavy, processed foods left me feeling sluggish, while fresh, whole foods made me feel energized and light. I also became more aware of my emotional connection to food, like when I was eating out of stress, boredom, or habit instead of actual hunger. This awareness was powerful. If you've never tried mindful eating, start small by choosing one meal each day to eat without distractions. Take it slow and see how it changes your experience. The 5th habit that really made an impact was limiting screen time. We live in a world where screens are everywhere, and it's easy to get sucked into endless scrolling, binge-watching, or constantly checking messages. I realized that all this screen time was leaving me feeling drained, affecting my productivity, and even disrupting my sleep. So I decided to set some boundaries for myself. I limited my non-work screen time to just 1 hour a day. With those extra hours, I rediscovered hobbies I'd neglected, reading, drawing, and even trying out new recipes in the kitchen. It felt amazing to re-engage with activities that didn't involve staring at a screen. I also noticed that I slept better without spending time on my phone before bed. Instead, I'd wind down with a book, meditate, or reflect on the day. This change led to a more restful sleep and left me feeling more refreshed each morning. One evening, instead of watching TV after dinner, I decided to go for a walk. The fresh air, the sounds of nature, and the act of simply moving my body felt incredibly rejuvenating. It was a simple but powerful reminder of how fulfilling life can be when we step away from screens and connect with the world around us. Limiting screen time isn't about avoiding technology entirely, it's about creating a healthy balance. If you're feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, try cutting back a little each day. You might be surprised at how much more you get out of life. The sixth habit I adopted was cultivating gratitude. This one sounds straightforward, but it had a big impact on my overall happiness. For 2 weeks, I committed to writing down 3 things I was grateful for every day. At first, it felt a bit forced, but I quickly realized just how powerful this simple act could be. As the days passed, I found myself looking for things to appreciate throughout the day, like a delicious meal, a kind word from a friend, or even just the beauty of the sunset. It shifted my focus from what was lacking to what was already there, bringing more positivity into my life. One day I wrote about a random act of kindness I'd experienced. Someone held the door open for me when my hands were full, and it made me feel seen and appreciated. Small moments like that made me realize how much I often took for granted. Gratitude helped me see the good in my life, even on tough days. If you're interested in trying this habit, start with just a few minutes each day. You don't need a fancy journal, just a notebook or a note on your phone will do. You'll be surprised at how this simple habit can bring a fresh perspective and more joy into your life. The 7th and final habit that transformed my life was prioritizing self-reflection. For 2 weeks, I made time each evening to look back on the day. I'd ask myself questions like, what went well today? What could I improve on? And what am I looking forward to tomorrow? This practice helped me track my progress and stay mindful of my goals. Self-reflection allowed me to learn from my experiences, celebrate my wins, and make adjustments where needed. It became a way to hold myself accountable and stay on track with my personal growth. One night, I reflected on a presentation I'd been nervous about. By writing out what I learned and how I could improve, I felt more prepared and confident for the next time. It's amazing how powerful it can be to take just a few minutes to look back on your day. If you've never tried self-reflection, I encourage you to start. You don't need to spend hours on it. Just a few minutes before bed can make a big difference. It's an opportunity to learn from your experiences, set intentions for the future, and appreciate how far you've come. So there you have it. The 7 habits that completely changed my life in just 2 weeks. These habits helped me find balance, clarity, and a sense of purpose. And I'm confident they can do the same for you. Start with one habit and see how it feels. It's not about being perfect or making massive changes all at once. It's about taking small steps that add up over time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you found these habits helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content. Let's keep growing and making positive changes together. Remember, small changes lead to big results. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.